Would you go? I figure the guy sitting in that chair knew the rules. Would you go? Yeah, I would. He turned his head and looked boldly at my face. It can be an expensive experience. But they all knew the rules, right? You snuff somebody in the state of Louisiana, you get treated to some serious electroshock therapy. Tell me the name of one rich man the state's burned. Or any state, for that matter. Sorry. I'm not broken up about these guys. You think Jimmy Lee Boggs should have gotten life? Would you like him back around here on parole after 10 and a half? No, I wouldn't. I didn't think so. I'll tell you another thing. If that guy tries anything on me, I'll park one in his mouth. Then I'll find his mother and describe it to her on her deathbed. How's that sound? I'm going in now. You want to come? She gonna be waiting, he said, and grinned again. She was, in a drenched print cotton dress, sun-faded and colorless from repeated washings that clung to her bony frame like wet tissue paper. Her mulatto hair looked like a tangle of gray gold wire, her high yellow skin as though it were spotted with brown dimes. She sat alone on a wood bench next to a holding cell, next to the elevator from which her grandson, Thibault Latiolet, whom she'd raised by herself, would emerge in a few minutes with Jimmy Lee Boggs, both of them manacled in waist and leg chains. Her blue-green eyes were covered with cataracts, but they never left the side of my face. She'd worked in one of Hattie Fontenot's cribs on Railroad Avenue in the 1940s. Then she'd spent a year in the women's penitentiary for stabbing a white man through the shoulder after he beat her up. Later, she worked in a laundry and did housework for $20 a week, which was the standard full-time salary for any Negro in South Louisiana, wherever he or she worked well into the 1960s. Tante Lamone's daughter gave birth prematurely to a baby that was so small it fitted into the shoes box she hid it in before she put it in the bottom of a trash barrel. Tante Lamone heard the child's cries when she went out to use the privy the next morning. She raised Thibault as her own, fed him cush-cush with a spoon to make him strong, and tied a dime around his neck with a string to keep illness from traveling down his throat. They lived in an unpainted shack whose gallery had totally collapsed, so that the steps looked as if they led into a gaping, broken mouth in an area people called Niggertown. Each spring, my father, who was a commercial trapper and fisherman, hired her to shell crawfish for him, though he could scarcely afford her meager salary. Whenever he caught mullet or gar in his nets, he dressed it and dropped it by her house. "I ain't eaten that, me," he would say to me, as though he owed an explanation for being charitable. I could hear the elevator coming down. A uniformed jailer at a small desk was finishing the paperwork on the transfer of the prisoners from the parish jail to Angola. "Mr. Dave," Tante Lamone said. "Tell 'em up there they're already being fed," the jailer said. "There ain't anything wrong with 'em either. The doctor checked out both of 'em." "Mr. Dave," she said again. Her voice was low, as though she were speaking in church. "I can't help, Tante Lamone," I said. "He was at my little house. He didn't kill no red bone," she said. "Somebody gonna take her home," the jailer said. "I told all them people, Mr. Dave, they ain't listen to me. What for they gonna listen to a old nigger woman worked in Miss Hattie's crib? That's what they say. Old nigger putain, lying for Thibault. His lawyer's going to appeal. There are a lot of things that can